Title: What if Blockbuster's best customers were actually Netflix's first customers? Here is a question that bankrupted a giant. What if the people paying late fees at Blockbuster were not angry? They were actually begging for Netflix. In 2007, Netflix looked crazy, mailing DVDs when Blockbuster owned the weekend, then streaming video when most homes still had DSL. Everyone knew the customer wanted new releases, candy aisles, and Friday night browsing. Netflix bet the opposite. The real potential customer hated all of that. They just did not know an alternative existed yet. This is part one of a three-part story built for entrepreneurs, the unemployed, the underemployed, and anyone on Social Security learning how to ideate products that actually get use. We are using Netflix streaming as the case study. Not because they had the best content on day one. They did not. Because they identified the right potential customer and tested on them in ways every other media company missed. By part 3 you will have 8 principles. Netflix used 3 mistakes competitors like Blockbuster, Hulu, and Quibi made, and lessons you can run this week with no budget. But first, let us kill a myth about potential customers. Part 1. Who was Netflix's real potential customer? The heresy that beat Blockbuster most business classes say start with a target market. Netflix started by ignoring the target market. In 2000, the target market for movies was clear. Families driving to Blockbuster on Friday, couples picking new releases, kids grabbing candy. The industry defined customers by occasion and demographics. Netflix looked at the same world and asked a different question. Who is being punished by the current system and is quiet about it? Answer: the person who forgets to return the $995. The person who hates driving after work. The person who wants to watch 2 episodes, not commit to a 2-hour block. That person was not in Blockbuster's focus groups because Blockbuster's focus groups happened inside Blockbuster stores. You do not find swimmers by polling people in the desert. How Netflix identified the streaming potential customer before streaming existed. It started with pain, not passion. 1. They followed the late fee. Blockbuster made almost 16% of revenue from late fees in 2004. Most CEOs saw profit. Reed Hastings saw a distress signal. A late fee is a customer saying, "Your rules do not fit my life." Netflix did not survey people about streaming. They solved DVDs by mail with no late fees first. That act pulled a specific customer out of the woodwork. The busy, forgetful, convenience-first adult. That same person became the first streaming customer 7 years later. Lesson: your potential customer is already telling you who they are through the workarounds and penalties they pay today. Follow the friction. 2. They segmented by control, not by content. Hollywood asked, "Do you like action or drama?" Netflix asked, "Do you want to control when, where, and how much you watch?" The first 995 by mail customers were not movie buffs. They were people who wanted to stop rearranging life around store hours. When streaming launched in 2007, it was hidden as a bonus for 995 subscribers. No extra charge. Why? Because Netflix was testing a behavior, not a business model. The question was, if we remove all friction, will you watch on your laptop? Compare that to Blockbuster Total Access in 2006. It was built for Blockbuster customers. It assumed people still wanted stores, but with mail as a backup. It was Blockbuster, plus postage. Netflix built for post-Blockbuster people. Different customer. Different product. How Netflix tested streaming on potential customers. This is where most founders waste years. They build the full app, buy the content, then pray. Netflix did the opposite. Test 1. The Watch Now Trojan Horse. 2007. Internet video was awful. YouTube was cats on 360p. Netflix could have waited for bandwidth. Instead, they launched Watch Now with only 1,000 titles. Old stuff. B-movies. TV episodes. Critics laughed. But Netflix was not testing content. They were testing behavior. Will people click play on a laptop if it is instant and included? The data said yes. Hours watched per user climbed fast, even with bad movies. That told Netflix the control was the product, not the catalog. Test 2. The ABB everything culture. While HBO was greenlighting shows by gut, Netflix was A/B testing artwork. Same show, 10 different thumbnails. Which one gets clicked by a 35-year-old mom at 9 p.m.? Ship that one to her. They tested all Toby. They tested skipping intros. They tested 2 episodes, Vielser's 10. Each test used real customers, not panels. Your Netflix homepage is different from mine. That is not magic. That is 250,000 tests per year. Compare that to Quibi in 2020. Quibi spent $1.75 billion deciding for a customer. You want 10-minute shows on your phone. They tested with celebrities and surveys. They did not test with real viewing behavior until launch day. The answer was, money cannot fix a bad test. Your turn. New questions to steal from Netflix this week. If you are building anything, a food business, a tutoring side hustle, a digital product, ask these. 1. What fee, penalty, or hassle does my potential customer pay today that they hate? That is your entry point. Netflix did not start with streaming. They started with kill-late fees. 2. How can I test the behavior before I build the whole thing? Can you offer one video, one chapter, one session, instantly, to see if people actually click, show up, or finish? If they do not use the ugly version, they will not use the pretty version. In Part 2, we will break down all 8 principles Netflix used to identify and test on potential customers. We will compare each one to mistakes Blockbuster, Hulu, CNN Plus, and Quibi made. You will get examples you can use even if you are starting from zero. Part 3 will give you the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid, plus lessons learned, and a 1-page streaming test canvas you can use for any product, not just video. For now, here is my ask. If this made you rethink who your real customer is, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Next week, we drop Part 2 with the full 8-principle breakdown and the story of how Netflix almost killed streaming in 2011, and what the data told them instead. Comment Part 2 and tell me, what late fee do your potential customers pay right now? I will reply with one test you can run in 7 days. Title: The 8 Rules Netflix Used to Turn Late Fees into a Streaming Empire. Welcome back. In Part 1, we learned Netflix did not find movie lovers. They found hassle haters. They did not launch with a perfect catalog. They launched with a perfect test. Will you click play if it is instant and free with your plan? This is Part 2. Here are the 8 principles Netflix used to identify potential customers and test products on them. For each one, we will show what Netflix did, how other companies did it wrong, and what you can steal this week even if you have no money and no team. No tables. No buzzwords. Just the moves. Part 2. 8 Netflix principles explained one by one. Principle 1. Follow the friction, not the fans. What Netflix did. Netflix found its first streaming customer by studying pain, not passion. Late to fees, due dates, driving to a store, limited copies of new releases. That pain created a very specific person. The adult who wants entertainment fit into life, not the other way around. 995. By mail removed the store. Streaming later removed the mailbox. Each step followed friction to its source. How other companies miss it. Blockbuster saw late fees as revenue, so they optimized for stores, not for people who hated stores. Hulu's early days focused on next-day TV for fans. That is passion. But it missed the bigger friction. Cable bundles, commercials, and not being able to binge. Quibi saw people love phones and assumed the friction was video length. The real friction was I do not want another subscription for stuff I did not ask for. How Netflix tested it. Before streaming, Netflix watched 995 queue behavior. If you kept long movies at the bottom of your queue 4 months, that was data. It meant you wanted shorter commitments. That insight shaped the first streaming push. TV episodes, not films. Test the pain, then solve it. Lesson for you. List 3 things your potential customers complain about in your industry. Do not survey. Listen online. Read reviews. Watch what they hack. Your product should kill one of those hassles on day 1. Principle 2. Start with the customer who you have, not the customer you want. What Netflix did. In 2007, Netflix did not chase cord cutters. That word did not exist yet. They started with 995 subscribers who already trusted them. Streaming was a free add-on. No new sign-up, no new bill. That let Netflix test behavior with zero risk to the user. If you already paid for DVDs, clicking Watch now costs nothing. That's how you get truth. How other companies miss it. CNN Plus launched in 2022 to the future streaming news audience. They asked people to create new accounts, pay new money, for anchors they could watch free on YouTube clips. They wanted a customer who did not exist yet. HBO Max later confused its own base by removing titles and raising prices before the habit was set. You cannot skip trust. How Netflix tested it. Every new feature rolled to a small percent of existing users first. Autoplay. Skip intro, downloads. If the cohort watched more hours, it rolled wider. If they watched less, it died quietly. No press release. No ego. Lesson for you. Who already pays you attention or money today? That is your test group. Do not build for strangers until you have tested on friends. If you tutor, offer your current students a free Watch Anytime replay. See if they use it before you film a whole course. Principle 3. Make the behavior easy. Before you make the content great. What Netflix did. Early streaming looked terrible. The bitrate was low. The catalog was old. But it was instant. No buffering wheels for 10 minutes. No store drive. No disk. Netflix bet that convenience would beat quality at first. Once the behavior was set, people clicked play at 9 p.m., then they invested in House of Cards and HD. How other companies miss it. Quibi spent on Spielberg and A-list stars before proving anyone wanted 10-minute episodes at lunch. The app was slick, but you could not screenshot. You could not watch on TV. They made content great and behavior hard. CNN Plus had great journalists, but you had to remember another app, another login, another bill. Great content, hard behavior. Both died fast. How Netflix tested it. They measured start time to play. If it took more than a few seconds, they killed the idea. They also tested continue watching logic relentlessly. The easiest thing had to be hitting play on episode 2. That single row drove billions in retention. Lesson for you. What is the one-click version of your product? If you teach cooking, is it a 3-minute garlic hack video texted at 5 p.m., not a 2-hour course? Test if people consume the smallest atom before you build the library. Principle 4. Personalization is the product what Netflix did. Two people open Netflix and see different rows, different art, different trailers. You are not browsing a store. The store is browsing you. Netflix identified the potential customer, not as action fan, but as you at 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, tired, with 20 minutes. The algorithm's job is to match mood to minute. How other companies miss it. Hable had 500 channels and a grid guide. You did the work. Hulu for years showed everyone the same homepage. It was a digital blockbuster shelf. Even today, many services recommend because you watched X only. That is genre, not context. Netflix tests because you watched X at midnight on your phone versus on Sunday on TV. Different art, different order. How Netflix tested it. They run hundreds of thousands of A/B tests a year. Same show, different thumbnail for different people. If your clicks go up with a close-up face, you get the face. If my clicks go up with an ensemble shot, I get that. No committee, just results. Lesson for you. Start personalizing with what you have. If you email tips, segment by opens at night versus opens at lunch. Send shorter tips to the night group. Watch click rates. Personalization can be scrappy. It just has to feel like this gets me. Principle 5. Binge was a test, not a brand. What Netflix did, dropping a whole season at once, was not a philosophy. It was a test. 995 customers already binged by mailing themselves free discs. Streaming just removed the mail delay. Netflix watched completion rates. People finished seasons faster and stayed subscribed longer. So binge became the default. How other companies miss it. Hulu chose weekly drops to please advertisers and networks. That is testing for the supplier, not the customer. Disney Plus copied weekly for conversation. Sometimes that works, but they did not test first. They assumed. Apple TV Plus stripped episodes because that is how TV is done. When they tried full drops with Severance Season 2, engagement spiked. The data was there, but the test came late. How Netflix tested it? They still test. Some global titles now get split batches. Korean dramas sometimes drop to per week. Netflix watches. Did fewer people cancel? Did social chatter increase? The answer decides the next release. X for you. Do not copy best practice. Test your customer's natural rhythm. If you coach clients, test 1 long call versus 3 short texts per week. See which one gets results and renewals. Let behavior pick the format. Principle 6. Kill your darlings with data, not meetings. What Netflix did. Netflix canceled shows with vocal fan bases because completion data was weak. They killed the Quickster 995 split in 2011 after customer outrage and cancellations spiked. They ended free trials when data showed paid starts gave better long-term retention. The rule. If the number says no, the story does not get to stay. How other companies miss it. Blockbuster kept stores open because people like browsing. The P&L said otherwise, but nostalgia won meetings. Quivi's leaders kept the app portrait only because that is the vision, even after users begged for TV casting. Vision without a kill switch is just ego. How Netflix tested it. Every product change has a guardrail metric. If cancellations rise beyond a threshold, the test rolls back that night. No debate. Engineers can ship and unship without permission. Speed beats pride. Lesson for you. Pick one metric that matters for your idea. Sign-ups, show-ups, repayments, referrals. If a change hurts it, revert fast. You can be wrong. You cannot be slow to admit it. Principle 7. Create a new habit, then monetize it. What Netflix did. From 2007 to 2010, streaming was free, with 995 plans. The habit was the goal. Click play after dinner. Finish a series. Cue the next one. Only after the habit was set did Netflix raise prices, split 995 in streaming, and invest in originals. They monetized the habit, not the hope. How other companies miss it. CNN Plus asked for money before the habit. Quibi asked for money and attention before proving it fit a real moment in your day. MoviePass sold an unsustainable habit. Unlimited theaters and died when the bill came. If the habit is not real, the monetization collapses. How Netflix tested it. They watched monthly hours per account. When that number was high and growing, they had pricing power. When it dipped, they delayed increases and added value like mobile games or downloads. The habit led. The price followed. Lesson for you. Give away the habit-forming piece. If you plan to sell meal plans, give away a free "What is in my fridge" recipe text for 14 days. If people use it daily, now you have a habit to monetize. Do not charge before the routine exists. Principle 8. Your competitor is churn, not other companies. What Netflix did. Reed Hastings said the competitor was sleep. Then he said Fortnite. He never said HBO. Netflix identified the potential customer as scarce resource, evening time and attention. Every test asked, did we earn an hour tonight? If yes, churn drops. If no, it does not matter what Disney did. How other companies miss it. Peacock, Paramount Plus, and others benchmark against Netflix's catalog. They have Stranger Things. We need our Stranger Things. That is competing on supply. Netflix competes on demand for your time. That is why they test mobile games, live events, and interactive shows. Not because games are on brand, but because boredom is the enemy. How Netflix tested it. Joy per hour is the internal idea. Did this title deliver satisfaction versus time spent? They survey, they track completion, they measure return to service after watching. If a show is expensive, but people do not feel joy, it is cut. If a cheap doc delights, it gets a season 2. Lesson for you. Name your customer's real alternative. If you sell online math help, your competitor is not Khan Academy. It is I will do it tomorrow and TikTok. Test whether your 5-minute video beats TikTok for a kid who is stuck. If not, free does not win. How this applies to you. Before part 3, pick one principle and run a 7-day experiment. Example for principle, free. Make the behavior easy. If you want to sell fitness coaching, post a 30-second do this stretch at your desk video at lunchtime for 5 days. Track how many people reply. Done. If the number is 0, your workout plan will not get used either. Fix easy first. In part 3, we will cover the 3 biggest mistakes companies make when they try to copy Netflix. You will share lessons learned and a 1-page streaming test canvas you can use for any idea, from catering to coding classes. If part 2 helped you see your customer clearer, subscribe to the YouTube channel. PRTII and tell me which principle you are testing first. I will reply with one way to measure it without software. You do not need Netflix's algorithm. You need Netflix's obsession with the customer's next click. Title: The 3 Mistakes That Killed Blockbuster, Quibi, and CNN Plus, and How Netflix Avoided Them. You are here for part 3. In part 1, we learn Netflix found hassle haters, not movie lovers. In part 2, we forget to write down the 8 principles they use to test on real people. Now we talk about the cliff. Because most companies do not fail from bad ideas. They fail from 3 predictable mistakes. Netflix made some of them too. But they recovered fast because their testing loop was faster than their ego. If you are an entrepreneur, unemployed, underemployed, or on Social Security trying to turn an idea into income, this part is your seatbelt. We will name the 3 mistakes, show how competitors crashed, share what Netflix did instead, and end with lessons you can use this week. Let us go. Part 3. 3 deadly mistakes and the lessons Netflix teaches instead. Mistake 1. They defend a business model, not the customer. What other companies do? They fall in love with how they make money today. So every new idea must protect that. Blockbuster's profit came from stores and late fees. When Netflix mailed DVDs, Blockbuster built Total Access to drive people back to stores to return discs. The metric was foot traffic, not customer happiness. The company was testing how to save real estate. It should have been testing how to save the customer time, how it looked with others. Cable companies spent a decade defending the bundle. So Hulu, which they co-owned, had to include ads and delay episodes. The product was designed to not anger cable. It angered users instead. Quibi defended mobile only as a business model differentiator. When users asked to cast to TVs during lockdown, the company waited months. They were protecting a slide deck, not a person. How Netflix did it different. Netflix killed its own golden goose twice. First, they pushed streaming, even though 995 iMail was printing cash. Second, they invested in originals, even though licensing was cheaper short-term. The test was always, does this earn the next hour of attention? If yes, they moved. If the old model had to die, they held the funeral and kept building. Lesson learned for you. Write down how you plan to make money today. Now ask, if my customers' behavior changes tomorrow, would I kill this model to keep them? If the answer is no, you are Blockbuster. Run a test that would break your model. If customers love it, you have your answer before bankruptcy does. Mistake 2. They launch big, then learn slow. What other companies do? They spend years and millions to launch perfect. High-tech reveal. Big press. Big content slate. A problem. You only learn after the money is gone. CNN Plus hired hundreds, built a studio, signed stars, and launched with a full schedule. They learned in 3 weeks that people did not want another news subscription. And that it was too late. Quibi raised $1.75 billion and filmed everything before a single user test. They learned on launch day that quick bites were not a real use case. How Netflix did it different. Netflix launched streaming in 2007 with 1,000 old titles and a clunky interface. No press tour. No Super Bowl ad. It was a beta hidden in the 995 account. They learned fast because the bet was small. When data showed people watched, they added more content and better bit rates. When mobile data showed phones were key, they built downloads. Each step was a small launch with a fast learn. Even House of Cards was a test. Buy 2 seasons up front, drop them all. See if Binge drives subs. It did. Then they scaled the model. Lesson learned for you. Make your first version embarrassing. If you want to start a cooking channel, do not buy a kitchen set. Film 1 recipe on your phone with bad lighting and post it. See if 3 strangers cook it and send a photo. If they do not, new lights will not help. Speed of learning beats quality of launch. Mistake 3. They confuse more choice with better experience. What other companies do? They think the customer wants a bigger catalog. So they add channels, titles, creators, buttons. The homepage becomes a casino. Blockbuster stores had thousands of boxes. Most were empty on Friday night. Cable had 500 channels and nothing on. Quibi had daily essentials and news, and scripted and unscripted. The app felt like homework. Choice without curation is a tax. How Netflix did it different. Netflix's real innovation was not quantity. It was reduction. One play button. Hot play next episode. Skip intro. Because you watched, rows that narrow 10,000 titles to 20 will actually click. They tested joy per hour. If adding a row made people scroll longer, but watch less, the row died. They would rather show you 4 perfect thumbnails than 400 random ones. The test is, did we get you to watch in under 60 seconds? If yes, the algorithm won. If no, the catalog did not matter. Lesson learned for you. For your idea, subtract before you add. If you tutor, do not offer 10 subjects. Offer algebra in 10 minutes at 7 p.m. for stressed parents. One promise, one button. Test if they click. You can add choice later. You cannot add clarity later if you burn them on day one. A lessons learned. You can use this week 1. Kill your favorite model if the customer asks you to. The prize is the customer, not the method. 2. Launch small, learn fast, and let data break ties. Big launches hide bad ideas. Small tests expose truth. 3. Curate, do not clutter. Your job is to reduce decisions, not increase them. 4. Churn is the competitor. If they do not come back tomorrow, your launch today did not matter. 5. Test behavior with what you have. Netflix used old movies to test streaming. You can use a Google Doc to test a course. 6. Habits before revenue. If they do not use it free, they will not use it paid. Your one-page streaming test canvas. Take a sheet of paper. Draw 4 boxes. Box 1. Who is my hassle hater? Name one person and the penalty they pay today. Time, money, stress, confusion. Box 2. What is the 10-second test? What is the smallest thing they can do to prove they want this? Click, reply, show up, finish. Box 3. What will I remove to make it instant? List 1 step, 1 click, 1 decision you can delete. Box 4. What does success look like in 7 days? Pick 1 number. 3 users came back twice. 5 people finished. 2 people told a friend. If you can fill this out and run the test by next week, you are already doing what billion-dollar companies forget to do. Netflix versus the world. The final comparison. Blockbuster optimized for stores. Netflix optimized for evenings. Hulu optimized for networks. Netflix optimized for next episode. Quibi optimized for investors. Netflix optimized for thumbs on a thumbnail. CNN Plus optimized for brand. Netflix optimized for behavior. You do not need Netflix's data team. You need their question. Did we earn another hour of your life? Ask that about your product. Then test, subtract, and ship again. Your next step. This 3-part series was made for you, the entrepreneur, the unemployed, the underemployed, and anyone on Social Security ready to ideate a product people actually use. If Part 3 gave you clarity, subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Next week, I am breaking down how to run the streaming test canvas live with 3 ideas from the comments. Comment, test it, and tell me which mistake you have made before and which lesson you are applying next. I will pick 3 comments and build the test with you on the live stream. You do not need permission. You do not need a studio. You need a hassle, a human, and a test.